I'd just like to thank all of you for coming out and showing interest in this topic. The topic at hand would be the death penalty. I know that some people see the death penalty as being barbaric or inhumane, but I say let's look at the crimes that have been committed by these criminals, and that within itself I would say is inhumane and heinous. And why should we give these individuals the chance of committing these same acts again? Once an individual escapes the death penalty and receives a sentence of life without parole or whatever the case may be, this still doesn't stop that individual from committing crimes or even killing while they're in prison. I know some people see this, as I say, as being inhumane. Some religious groups see it as God's law as it relates to the Ten Commandments, when the Lord says that if a man sheds another man's blood, then his blood should be shed. But again, there's a difference of opinion even within these religious groups, because some religious groups say that that's a part of their Old Testament and therefore it's no longer valid today. Well, again, I say that life is sacred, so therefore to allow an individual to commit a heinous crime without giving the victim the wherewithal and consideration of the fact that their life was of value, I think it's just sends a bad message, when a person feels they can take a life without losing their own life. So, as I said, some groups, the liberals feel that, again, it's inhumane. The conservatives feel that it's of a nature of law, and that life is sacred. I know there are a lot of different opinions on this. I just consider that two wrongs don't make a right, but it's not wrong to carry out a punishment. I understand also that there have been quite a few people who have been placed on death row who were innocent. So in those cases where you have any doubt, I think that a person should be placed on life without parole, or life with the possibility of parole. But again, it all depends on the certain circumstances. I understand that there are instances where there may be accidents, where a person is killed. So I'm not talking about incidents where there were accidents. I'm talking about incidents where there was malice, where there's murder, assassination, where it was actually a situation where it was premeditated. So I'm not talking about manslaughter or anything as such, but I just feel that human life is valuable, and it should be seen as being valuable. So therefore, when a person looks past the value of life, then they should suffer with their own life. Again, a lot of people say that the death penalty isn't a deterrent, and I say, well, if it's a deterrent, that's fine, but it's a punishment. So therefore, those that are involved with these heinous crimes should understand that if you take somebody's life, you too, there's a possibility that you too will lose your life. I think that the victims, again, should have a voice, even though for all intents and purposes, they can't have a voice because they've been murdered. But I think that the voice coming from the grave is one whereby, hey, it speaks volumes. And as I said, if it's a deterrent, that's fine. But if it's a punishment, that's what we're looking at, the fact that it's a punishment. So whether you be of a religious group that's to the left or to the right, or if you take a stance as a political organization, whether it's the left or the right, then I feel that we all need to really look at these set of circumstances and understand that life is valuable, and that it shouldn't just be looked upon as being cavalier. The Supreme Court has basically stated that, in cases that it's okay, but now a lot of states, they're leaving it in the hands of the states, so therefore the states are pulling back because the masses have said that it's cruel and inhumane. But let's look at the data and statistics as it relates to times past and today. Of course, in times past, even in biblical times, there were cases of murder, and the penalties haven't really changed much in regards to the statistics and bringing them down and the data down. But again, I say let's look past the statistics and just adhere to the crime. A lot of people don't want to adhere to the death penalty because they said it costs a lot of money. And I think that we're looking past the punishment phase and we're looking into the economic stage, because it costs more money actually to put someone on death row or to impose the death penalty as it would to give them a life sentence. But again, I think that we need to re-examine these issues and again uphold the fact that life is valuable. Thank you.